Warning. Some content in this video is not suitable for younger audiences or squeamish at heart. If you don't like some violence, blood, death, please turn away now. Thank you for watching. Now on with the show. Sometimes tracking these killers can even make the toughest detective go nuts. Especially when you see victims treated like garbage. Today's story is about a psycho nutbag that went through Kentucky, Tennessee, all surrounding areas and murdered at least 35 people that we know of. And he didn't just pick like women. It was almost like whoever was in his way or someone that he just wanted to kill. This man was crazy. You're gonna hear some sick stuff. He had parts of diary, I guess if you want to call it, or just notebook all over. We found pages in Kentucky in an apartment that he stayed at, to a cabin in the middle of the woods in Tennessee, and an apartment, and found some he must have dropped in a woman's house inside Nashville. His name was Ronald Partinski. He wasn't publicized like a lot of these nutbags are, so these psycho people can praise him. It took us 2.5 years to hunt him down, but his lust for death is what finally caught up to him. A divine intervention. He was caught in a cabin, or should I say, his corpse in a cabin. We got pages. Some didn't make no sense. He would write, scribble, scrabble stuff on these notebooks. It's funny how these killers like to keep memorabilia from their victims. These sick, twisted people. We found a woman partially buried in Kentucky, in the middle of farmland, and that's where it began with Ronald Partinski. We found it partially decomposed, her pinky missing. Some of her teeth were pulled out of her mouth. Stabbed over 50 times. And sexually assaulted. And to his last victim, before he got caught himself, was a young man, just graduated from high school and was looking for his future. Excited to face the unknown. Then he came along. And as he wrote in his notebooks, just for fun, he loved the smell of fear. The certain body BO, as he put in his notebooks. What attracted his first victim, as he put in his notebook. The smell of this girl just made him overwhelmed. His heart fluttered. And as he put in there, I don't know what happened. I just know that I was so excited when I smelled her. I touched her shoulder and she smiled and asked me if I needed help. And I told her yes. And I got this bitch in the back of a tool shed. And I started slowly strangling her as these voices in my head were telling me to kill her. And all I could think it was just keep crushing as she was hitting me. Then I pulled out my knife. The euphoria of the knife ripping her flesh apart overwhelmed me. It was a delight to see her scream. Blood-curdled screams. Oh, and watching every little drop of life leaving this body. And then after it was done, I had to put her body somewhere, but then I thought, fuck this bitch. And I left her in the middle of farmland. I figured if they do find her, it'll be way, way gone. And then he has pages and pages. Just goofy faces, die bitch, die. The scrabble of insane things like, I wonder if I could take the guy's face and make it into a poster. He was beyond sick. We got close a couple times, but he always got away. He's managed to kill as young as 12-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl. As he put in his so-called sick diary, he liked the girl better than the boy because her meat tasted nice and sweet as he baked her in the oven, which helped us along the way of catching him. We found parts of the girl's body in a pan in one of the cabins in Kentucky. We found bodies all over the place. I wanted to catch him. I wanted to put an end to him. There's many times I sit up nightly and not sleeping and what am I gonna do when I get him? A part of me wanted just to shoot his freaking head off. Or another part of me just slowly let him feel the pain that his victims felt by cutting his fucking head off. But anyway, as we went on and finding these pages, he put in that I wonder if Amy likes me. It's a girl he met in Missouri. But as he put in there, I had her tied in the back seat. As she was moaning, please let me go. I even found euphoria in that. I kept telling her, don't worry, darling. Once I get done with you, you'll live forever and ever and ever. The girl, we found parts of her body in parts of Illinois. Her hands. Sick bastard. Then, the next chapter, we found pages in a hotel room. It's almost like he did this deliberately, knowing that we were hunting for him. He had in there the whole story of what he did to this young woman who was 18 years old. I saw her come out of the school. She just graduated as I sat across the street watching her, and it was just her and her mother and her brother. I followed them home. She looked so pretty. And there went those voices again. He even put in there that the TV, Satan would come in through the TV and tell him, I want her soul. And as he put more like, I want her flesh. I must see her scream. Unfortunately for that family, we found them. The mother was decapitated. The brother was raped by a baseball bat. And part of his arm was gone. He had a tattoo on his arm. So the sick bastard liked it. As he wrote in his journals, something about this tattoo, I really like it. This 3D-ish look, I'll cut it off that motherfucker and keep it for myself. Maybe I can put it on me. Insane as he is and was, I should say. Something about this girl as she was trying to scream. I told her to stop screaming, it'll be okay, as I slowly took the duct tape off her mouth. She was begging, please, I'll do anything. And oh, did I ever do a lot of things. It was so nice, feeling her body all tensed up as I made love to her. Funny that he puts that in there. We never did get no DNA from that. But we got his DNA from the fingernails of 3 of the victims. But the beauty part of it was, it wasn't going to go on much too longer. He knew we was getting on the trail of him, so he left. But in the journal, as she was screaming, he loved her toes, so he said. He clipped each one by one as she screamed in pain. And he loved the blood juice, as he would put it, squirting out of her feet as she screamed. Then he would sit and slowly talk to his victims before the end. As he put in there, I tried to put her mind at ease. Then I tried to be more positive by telling her, look at the bright side. You're gonna meet Jesus. Isn't that who you believe in, Jesus? Well, you get to meet him now. You don't have to worry about it. As she started begging again and crying, this feeling of excitement as I slowly took tweezers and I pulled out her eyeball as she's screaming and I ate it right in front of her. Believe it or not, it actually tasted good. As this jelly squirts. She started calling me bad names and that made me angry. So then I cut off her fingers one by one. As I slowly took my knife, see it going into her flesh like knife to a butter, stick of butter. Slowly just peeling her flesh off. We found that lady's body. Her torso was completely peeled. We don't know what he did with the flesh. We didn't find it. Then supposedly he saw an 11-year-old girl. She seen him carrying out the body. And she went to go run. But he caught her. Put her in the trunk. Took her out to that cabin again. Raped her continuously for 3 days. Some about her. Butt cheeks for some reason or another he was fascinated with. And he put in his journal, that's the best tasting meat. This girl. I told her, why wait for Santa to come here? You'll get to go to heaven and see Santa with Jesus. It's okay, don't cry. He cut off her head and still made love to her torso for 2 days. I wanted to get my hands on him. This sick. It's rough to be a homicide detective. Because it sticks with you for life. But he knew he was getting hot on his trail. But I think he didn't care either, because he left these journals and notes. The last one we found was in a hotel room in Missouri. But we didn't find no dead bodies in Missouri. But there was blood in his hotel room. What he wrote in his journal was, don't stand so close to me, and put ha ha ha. See you on the other side. The boy's liver was delicious, but something with his eyes that didn't taste good. So I tossed him out the window as I was driving. Never found the boy's eyes. But we know where he went. He went to Colorado. He thought we wasn't going to find him there. And he was right. At first we didn't know he was there. Till we got a phone call. Someone that fit his description was staying in a cabin. Then on the news, as we get that phone call, two people dead, one in critical condition, but the killer was dead. And when we got there, we found out what happened, because when the lady was able to tell us what happened, besides some of the notes he had even there in the cabin in Colorado, he said, and I quote, "Three good-looking people just rented the cabin across the way from me. I snuck over there 3 or 4 times. They didn't know it. But one time I almost got caught from the leaves making a noise and stepping on sticks. But they said it could have been a wild animal. Boy, I had these young people confused. They didn't know what to think. It was a man and 2 girls that smelled beautiful. I waited outside one night, made noise. The young man came out to see what was doing it as the girls were scared. I snuck up behind him, slowly, stuck my knife in his back, and pulled by my weight all the way down his spine as he screamed. Oh, that felt so good. Voices was cheering me. Did I do good, master? As I left his body laying there so they could see it, the girl screamed as she looked out the window. They didn't know what to do. I cut the electric off. Some girl was looking out the window. She hit me with a bat or something. Knocked me off my feet, but the excitement turned me on even more. I was loving this. Oh yeah. She hit me again, but I got her by the hair and swung with my right hand and got her right in the eyeball with my blade sticking out the back of her head. So I sniffed her crotch, and it was awesome. I'll get back to you as I must find the other one. Maybe I should tie her down and make her watch. And that's the last entry in his notebook. Because what he didn't know was the last girl he was looking for hid upstairs. And when he started slowly coming up the stairs, they creaked. What a smart girl. And when he turned the corner to go into the bedroom, she happened to be waiting there with a .45. She put 3 slugs in his chest and 1 in his head. Good girl. Solved that problem real quick. But the terror and having to tell the families that they lost their loved ones, it's not the easiest thing in the world. And these things stick with you. They stick with you for a long time.